Let me tell you what's really going on because this story is about to explode. Anthony Richardson. Yeah, that's right, the Colts' young quarterback. He wants out of Indianapolis. He's not hiding it anymore. The man is fed up. He's saying, "I'm ready to be a starter. I'm not sitting here and waiting my turn. I don't like it here. Get me out." And when a quarterback decides he's done like that, a door closes for him in Indy, but I'm telling you, another door cracks wide open for someone else, and that someone else just might be Shedeur Sanders. You ever hear that old saying, when God closes one door, he opens another? Well, Richardson's door might be slamming shut in Indy, and I believe with everything in me that it could be opening wide for Shedeur. And think about how poetic this is. Richardson gets his chance to find a place where he's valued, while Shedeur, this kid with all the hype, all the talent, all the spotlight already on him, could be sliding into a situation tailor-made for a breakout. Let's build a totem pole together. Smash like, subscribe, and comment. If this video hits 2,000 likes, that means we're beating the Baltimore Ravens. Let's make it happen. Now, don't get it twisted. Shedeur's goal has never been to just hang around as a backup. No. This is a kid who's been a starter his entire life. He's a Sanders. He's got that pedigree, that DNA. He's not wired to stand on the sidelines with a clipboard. But the NFL doesn't always hand you your shot right away. Sometimes you've got to grab whatever opportunity is right in front of you, even if it means biding your time for a minute. And Shedeur knows that. But here's the part that's really been blowing my mind. While all this drama has been swirling, while the Browns have been wasting him on the bench, Shedeur hasn't been sulking. He's been out in the community. He's been in the projects, running outreach programs, showing kids there's more to life than the streets. That's not a publicity stunt. That's leadership. That's character. That's the kind of stuff that makes a locker room rally around a guy. Now let me pull this back to Cleveland, because you remember when Joe Flacco somehow dragged the Browns into the playoffs back in 2023? Feels like forever ago, right? Everyone thought that was going to be the turning point. Watson comes back, Flacco's storybook run, momentum building. But what happened? The team completely imploded, from playoff football to flat-out unwatchable. And let's be honest, being unwatchable, that's been the Browns' brand for decades. They've practically perfected the art of breaking their fans' hearts. So here's my problem. When you've got a chance to finally flip the script, to bring in a kid like Shedeur Sanders who could energize an entire city, change the narrative, and you don't even give him a shot, that's when your own players start side-eyeing the coaching staff. That's when trust starts to crack. The 2025 season was supposed to be the rebound year. They brought Flacco back. They drafted some rookies. They tried to sell us this master plan. But you know what's happening behind closed doors? The veterans are whispering the same question we're all asking out loud. Why isn't Shedeur getting a real chance right now? They see him every day in practice. They see the way he studies, the way he commands the huddle, the way he just gets the game at a level rookies usually don't. They know his ceiling is sky high, and yet the Browns keep rolling out retreads. They keep playing it safe. They keep telling us the time isn't right. And then it gets even crazier. Owner Jimmy Haslam himself has been hinting, not even subtly, that the team is already scouting quarterbacks for the 2026 draft. Imagine being Shedeur Sanders, sitting there knowing you've got all the tools to be the guy, and your team is openly talking about drafting your replacement before you even get your first real shot. That's not just mismanagement. That's disrespect. And if you think the locker room isn't noticing, think again. These guys aren't stupid. They're looking around saying, we've got a franchise quarterback right here in the building, and our own front office is scouting kids who aren't even draft eligible yet. That's how you lose a team. That's how frustration boils over into revolt. Now, here's the part where it all comes to a head. Veteran players don't have time to waste. Their careers are short. Their windows to win are tiny. If you're a vet on this Browns team, you're looking at Shedeur thinking, this kid could be the missing piece. He could make all the difference. And instead, you're stuck watching Joe Flacco eat up snaps. That's the kind of decision that makes guys tune out their coach. And Kevin Stefanski? Man, the clock is ticking on him. Every practice where Shedur's running with the twos instead of the ones is another hit to Stefanski's credibility. Every game where the offense sputters while Shedur sits is another reminder that this staff might not have the guts to make the bold move. But let's be real here. Shedur Sanders isn't just another prospect. He's not just some rookie who needs 3 years of seasoning. He's got the poise, the IQ, and the swagger to change a franchise right now. And the veterans know it. The fans know it. Hell, even casual fans watching from the couch know it. The only people blind to it seem to be the ones in charge. And that's why this whole Anthony Richardson situation is so fascinating. Because if Richardson really forces his way out of Indy, if that quarterback spot really opens up, Shedur might just be staring at the perfect opportunity. A fresh start. A franchise that actually wants to build around a young quarterback instead of planning his funeral before he ever gets a chance. The Colts could be the place where Shedur rewrites his story. And Cleveland? They'll be left explaining to their fans why they let a franchise quarterback slip through their fingers while they were busy chasing ghosts of the future. And I'm sitting here asking the only question that matters: why? Why in the world would this franchise even whisper the idea of pushing Shedur Sanders, the five-star phenom, the documentary in motion, the face of tomorrow, down toward the practice squad just to make space for college football's most glorified crown prince? You couldn't script this level of lunacy if you tried. But this is Cleveland. This is what they do. And if you want the real story, if you want the unfiltered version of how deep this quarterback madness goes, hit that subscribe button right now, because trust me, you're not going to get this kind of breakdown on ESPN highlights. This is the raw stuff, the drama nobody wants to say out loud. Let's talk about what just happened. Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry, the owner and the GM, spotted front and center at Ohio State versus Texas. Not there for the tailgate, not there to shake hands, not there for the pageantry. No, they were locked in. They were scouting. And the guy they were allegedly locked on? None other than Arch Manning. And if you've been awake for even a split second of college football the past 3 years, you know exactly what that means. This kid isn't just a quarterback. He's a surname. He's the nephew of Peyton, the grandson of Archie, the heir to the Manning dynasty. He's football royalty by bloodline. And because of that, executives drool like his Hall of Fame bust is already being molded in Canton. But here's the twist. Here's what makes my blood boil. Arch Manning is not playing like royalty. He's not lighting up the scoreboard. He's not dominating the field. He's erratic. He's missing throws you'd expect a mid-tier backup to make. And yet the NFL is staring at him like he's the second coming. Meanwhile, Shedur Sanders, a kid who has already taken NFL hits, who's shown composure, accuracy, leadership under real pressure, he's being treated like spare parts. Whispers about the practice squad, like he's disposable. That's not just wrong. That's offensive. That's disrespect at the highest level. Let's be clear. Shedur didn't stroll into this league with a silver spoon. He didn't show up, carrying just a famous last name and a press kit. He earned his ground, inch by inch. He got drafted later than he should have. He ate that disrespect. And still, he walked into camp radiating leadership, commanding the room like a true QB1. And before the man even gets a real shot to prove himself in live action, the Browns are already peeking over the fence like, maybe we should chase Arch Manning instead. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. This isn't just Arch versus Shedur. This is hype versus proof. Potential versus production. Privilege versus perseverance. Arch was handed a crown before he ever earned it. Shedur had to claw for every ounce of respect. And the Browns of all teams, are actually considering tossing Shedur aside for a Manning who hasn't proven he can run a college offense, let alone an NFL one. That's reckless. That's beyond reckless. And you know what? Reckless is this franchise's middle name. Imagine being Shedur Sanders right now. You grind your entire life, you fight through the doubters, you prove yourself at Jackson State. You survive one of the most scrutinized seasons in Colorado history. You take hit after hit, and you still produce numbers that scream NFL ready. Then you slide in the draft. You eat that. You show up to camp humble but confident, ready to compete. And before your real debut even comes, your franchise is already window shopping the next shiny surname. That's not just humiliating, that's betrayal. Because this isn't about a quarterback shuffle. This is about culture. This is about trust. This is about loyalty. And you can't build a locker room on betrayal. You can't look 52 men in the eye and tell them, performance matters, while you bench the guy who's actually shown it for a kid who hasn't even declared for the draft. You can't do it. Let's build a totem pole together. Smash like, subscribe, and comment. If this video hits 2,000 likes, that means we're beating the Baltimore Ravens. Let's make it happen. And if Cleveland goes down this road, if they exile Shedeur Sanders to clipboard purgatory while betting the house on a Manning fairy tale, you know what's going to happen? Another franchise is going to scoop him up instantly. And when that happens, he's going to torch the league. That's the script. That's the prophecy. We've seen it 100 times before. The overlooked, disrespected talent who comes back to burn everything in his path. And when that day comes, when Shedeur is dropping bombs in Dallas or Atlanta, or Vegas, Cleveland will be left standing there in the rubble replaying this exact moment, Haslam sipping his sparkling water, nodding at another Arch Manning misfire, and they'll realize they had him. They had their guy, and they let him go. So let's not sugarcoat this. This isn't strategy. This isn't vision. This is cowardice dressed up in a suit and tie. And if Haslam and Barry can't see it, then they don't just deserve the chaos storming their way. They invited it. Browns fans, I'm telling you right now, turn the volume up. Make your voices heard. Because Shedeur Sanders deserves more than whispers. He deserves more than hypotheticals. He deserves a real shot. And if Cleveland trades that away for a surname and a press conference, they're not just betting on Arch. They're betting against reality. And we all know how that movie ends.